Okay, and we're live. Hi, Jackson. How's it going?
Good. How about you, Chris?
I'm wonderful. Thank you for using my informal name. We're going to get started now. Our class knows a little bit about you. We looked at your pictures yesterday. They were very interested, especially in Jackson's Hole, it seemed like. So they have some questions that they would like to ask you. Does anybody want to go first? Any brave soul ready to ask the first question? Nope. Matthew, not surprised.
Not bad. Come on, Matt. Go, Matt.
Do you really think the world's gonna end tomorrow?
No.
Okay.
I've got a good one from my third hour, and I'll read this one to you. This is from Jacob Clark, and I'll read it exactly how he wrote it. It says, raise his hand. Based on your original expeditions to Greece and Rome, do you think you will ever visit Pompeii, that place where people were buried alive in molten ash and lava, creating perfectly preserved shells of what they were doing so very long ago, like shadows?
That was very poetic. And also, I have been to Pompeii already, actually, back in 2011. Yes, I highly recommend it if you have not gone. It is very magical to see an entire Roman city intact.
Lucas Campbell from my fourth hour class wants to know, what kind of tools do you use when you're doing the work of an archaeologist?
One of the most useful tools is a pickaxe, but not the large pickaxes that you see in movies like Indiana Jones, but actually a smaller pickaxe, probably like this long, that you use to take what we call a pass, where you take a couple inches of dirt off at a time. And that and a trowel, which I have one on the wall behind me, which is which is a gardening tool, but that's also very useful for scraping dirt, which is a lot of what archaeology is, just scraping dirt off the ground.
Caleb?
What is the most interesting thing you found being an archaeologist?
Well, the hole that you saw yesterday was very interesting. But back in 2011, when I was excavating in Italy, I actually fell into another hole. This one happened to be a tomb, though, and we had no idea that it was there. That was probably the most interesting discovery that I've made, and also the most unexpected one.
That's it.
What type of bones have you found?
You find a lot of animal bones because back then there wasn't a very regulated trash system. So you'll find just a lot of people outside of houses will just throw their bones from their evening meal. So a lot of chicken bone, a lot of pig bone, cow bone, sheep bone. As I said, I fell into that one tomb, so that was actually human bone in there. And I showed you the pictures from, or I sent the pictures to Mr. Winkle of the Bone Lady, as she's affectionately known. And she has done a lot of work with human bones at the Agora in Athens, and graciously showed us all those this summer.
Maggie.
Have you ever found anything creepy?
Creepy?
Yeah.
I mean, besides the tomb, again, sometimes you do find fossilized poop, but I have not done that yet. Yeah, no, besides besides that, no, not really.
Mackenzie from my 7th hour wonders how you got your start in archaeology.
How I got my start in archaeology? Well, I always loved Indiana Jones, and I've always been very interested in classical mythology, so Greek and Roman mythology. And when I went to college, I ended up taking, I went to Kalamazoo College, and I took a Roman history class, and I was very interested in that. And I took another class in the classics, and I took another class in the classics, and all of a sudden I was a classics major, and I decided that the best way to go about doing that would be working with the artifacts themselves. So that's how I got into this.
All right.
What's your favorite place that you've been to?
I went to Santorini this summer, which was gorgeous. It's a tiny little island in the Cyclades, east of mainland Greece, and it's a very touristy spot, but it is touristy for a reason. It's a gorgeous volcanic island with black sand beaches and crystal clear waters, and it's either that or Pompeii, actually, because Pompeii it's pretty magnificent to see in person.
Ben Maxwell from also from my 7th hour asks, what unsolved question do you wish you had the answer to?
What unsolved question do I wish I had the answers for? I'm not sure. How accurate the writings of Suetonius are. He is a Roman author who wrote a lot of gossipy conspiracy stuff about the Roman imperial family.
Evan.
Left Twix or right Twix? Oh my god.
I'm more of a right Twix guy myself.
Okay.
Oh wow. Do you think humans in the past looked the same as they do today?
Yes. Perhaps a bit shorter. There was...
Not all.
I mean, there were tall people still too, but like Napoleon was of average height for his day and age, but just a lot shorter than we were, than our average now.
Harsberg.
Where do you plan on going next?
I will probably, this coming summer, I'll be returning to the Agora in Athens, which is a very long-running dig. It's been going on for about 80 some odd years. But the summer after that, I will probably be going to Samothrace in the northeastern Aegean Sea, east of Greece, where I will be doing a landscape survey where you walk around and look for artifacts on the surface.
Bailey.
Do you work with a team?
Yes. This past summer, I worked with a team of about 55 other students, and then like a few administration staff. I've been on other projects where it's as few as people, and I've been on projects with as many as 80 people.
From my 3rd hour, Riley Nealman says, what are you looking forward to most in your archaeological career?
really looking forward to running my own project one day. I have no idea what that project will be or where it will be, but I'm very interested in getting to decide for myself what to excavate and where to excavate. But that'll be another 20 years or so before that happens.
Libby. Go.
What's your favorite thing about being an archaeologist?
Working with the materials firsthand, definitely. It is. I don't know how to express it in words. Like getting to actually touch and be the one to discover the artifacts that you see in museums. I mean, obviously, artifacts in museums are behind glass, and I'm the person that got to touch it and pull it out of the ground. So that is probably my favorite aspect.
Lucy.
What is one thing you really want to find or see one day on a project?
Well, up until this past summer, I had a goal of finding obsidian, which is not native to mainland Greece. So if you find obsidian, then it means that somebody way back in the day imported it to mainland Greece. But I actually found a bunch of obsidian this summer. So what is my new goal? Finding an intact sculpture, but that is exceedingly rare.
Okay, we've got another hypothetical question. This is from Casey at Third Hour. She asks, if Atlantis resurfaced and you got to go out and look at artifacts there, what kind of things do you think you would find?
Well, actually, the myth of Atlantis may be tied to Santorini, where I was this summer. And the site there is ancient Thera. And I actually saw a lot of the artifacts from ancient Thera in the museum while I was there this summer. So there was actually a fossilized baby crib, like the wood had been fossilized, and there were obviously spear points and urns and jars and stuff like that.
Chloe.
What is one of the most rare things you usually find?
Rare things. This summer, we were taking down some Byzantine walls. The Byzantine Empire followed the Roman Empire in Greece. It lasted until 1453. In their walls, they like to use a lot of what we call spolia, which is reused materials. So while taking down the walls, we actually found a lot of sculptural fragments and pieces of relief that they used to build their wall. So that was actually a very exciting week while taking down that wall, because you don't normally find a lot of sculptural fragments. But that was pretty exciting and rare.
And then lots of students in lots of classes want to hear the story of Jackson's Hole.
Sorry, say that again?
A lot of students want to hear the story of Jackson's Hole.
Ah, yes. Okay. So it had been raining for about 4 days straight in Athens, which is a very rare occurrence during the summer. It's not there is a wet season, and in the summer it is normally just dry the entire time. So we got back into the trenches on Monday, and they were still pretty wet, and we were cleaning up. And I was honestly just troweling some mud, and went to go throw something in the bucket that I had found, and just fell through the earth, just into this river. And I'm at chest level right here, while all of my team members around me are freaking out and people are like grabbing my hands and trying to like drag me out as I'm like most of the way in this hole. And I was standing on those column drums that you saw in the video, so I was fine. But it was, and after having fallen in the tomb back in 2011, I was kind of used to it, and yeah, I ended up just like pushing myself out. But I did not hear the end of that for the rest of the summer, and obviously it was named after me, and random strangers who I had no idea who they were would come up to me and be like, "Ah, you're that guy that fell in the hole, right?" And so apparently that's what I'm known for in the archaeology field now, is being the guy that fell in the Eridanus River.
All right, is there anybody else with another question?
What was your first thought when you fell through the hole where you found the tomb?
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
What was your first thought when you fell through the hole and found the tomb?
Oh no, not again.
All right. Oh, Julia.
When you fell through the hole and you found those columns, did you ever figure out like what the building was?
What the what was?
What like it was connected to?
Oh yeah, there was actually a 19th century German academic who had explored the system, like the tunnel system, but we had no idea where it was, or like where he had gone into the tunnel system, how he had gotten into it. So we know that it has been explored, and we have his writings, but we did not explore it that far, because if it had collapsed at any point, we would not be able to get that person out, and they would have no idea where they were going. So we explored down to the turns on either side. So, I mean, you could barely see the turns, so they actually went a ways. But that is as far as we explored into there.
Maddie.
Where have you been and what did you find there?
Where have I been and what?
And what did you find there?
Okay. I have been to Gabi in Greece, which is 18 kilometers east of Rome. It's a Latin city, and was eventually conquered by the Romans, and was an early rival to Rome itself. And while there, I was excavating a mid-Republican Roman house, so that's about 400s or 300s BC. And then I've been to Greece in the Mossy Plain and the Agora in Athens.
That's Julia.
What did you find out about the mid-Republican Roman house?
That it is a fairly, so the research that I did on it, I actually wrote my undergraduate thesis on the house. And my research was concentrating on the, how closely it aligned to Vitruvius's. Vitruvius was a Roman architect who like laid down a bunch of like, this is how you build this building. So I was looking at how closely the atrium house that we had aligned with his model that he provided. And it aligns pretty closely, actually.
All right, you can probably hear students shuffling their stuff. We're getting close to the end of the hour now. So
Okay.
We wanted to thank you again for joining us. So everyone will say thank you, I'm sure.
Thank you.
For having me.
It we hope you enjoy Texas. It kind of feels like Texas here. It's supposed to be 90 degrees today.
We're dying.
So thank you once again.
No problem.